Go live your life, little caterpillar. I just threw him from the 3rd floor because he was trapped. When you see yourself in the mirror, when you try to take a selfie. These earrings are very cheap metal and they're killing my ears, but they're really cute. I'll show you. Hello? Okay, there we go. They're tiny little soju bottles. Oh, did you guys see my nails? I think I showed you. But there's butts on them, like 3D butts, and then on these guys, I got 3D boobs. Hell yeah. I don't think I showed you guys this, like, done. So, it's a weird angle, but, like, there it is. I finished that maybe 2 weeks ago, and I just started this today. And I hate everything. This is too hard. This is really complicated. I don't know why I decided, but alright. Okay, I think I'm gonna call it a day here. I think I told you guys I had my thesis proposal presentation. I had that on Monday. It's now Saturday, so it's been almost a week. And honestly, honestly, I think it went okay. I mean, I covered what I needed to cover, and I had 2 professors there that spoke English that, like, were there in times that maybe, like, we didn't, like, something wasn't understood, or, like, if anyone had questions or anything. I did most of the presentation in English, but it was, like, correlated with English and Chinese on a PowerPoint. So, you know, what I could say in Chinese I did, but I was really afraid, like, this is a really important thing, and if, like, the meaning is not translated well, like, if I butcher it and, like, really botch it in Chinese, it's not going to be understood. So it was advised to me to just, like, do whatever I was comfortable with, you know. So to me, obviously that's like majority English, and I told them ahead of time, you know, when I started my presentation, I was like, yeah, so, you know, my Chinese isn't great, this is important, and I don't want to mess it up, so I'm gonna speak English most of the time. If you don't understand something, we can, you know, we can talk about it, but it's also gonna be in Chinese behind me, so, you know, just listen to my soothing voice in English even though you don't understand, and just read my PowerPoint is basically what I did. But to be fair, I mean, I think it went okay. I got a thumbs up from the dean after I did my presentation, and everyone said that I did fine, but I gotta be really honest, I really scared myself. I don't remember actually giving the presentation. Like, I remember sitting there, I remember, you know, whatever. I don't remember a whole lot of what I talked about. I think it was because, 1, I was excessively tired. 2, I was, like, very anxious, very nervous, so I just wanted to, like, get it done, so I just did it, and then, like, that was it. But also, I took lorazepam prior to, I took 2 1-milligram pills each, which I used to do all the time, like, when I was, you know, overly anxious, and my psychiatrist always advised, like, oh yeah, take 1, and then, you know, if you still feel anxious, like, take another one in a little while. Which is what I did. So, like, when I woke up, I took the 1 because I knew I was going to be anxious, and then I planned in an hour or so to take a second one, and I did. But I haven't taken them in a long time, so I don't know if it, like, I don't know, and that's a really scary thing to me because I've never done anything like that where it's been like, I don't remember doing something, or, you know, it messed with my memory. But I think it was honestly, like, 1 milligram is really, it's like not really anything. So 2 milligrams really isn't anything either. And since I used to do it all the time, I don't think that was necessarily the problem. I think it was just, like, I was so tired. I was so nervous. I remember talking to my friend, like, before, and I was like, oh my god, I think I'm gonna throw up. Like, I'm really, really scared. I'm really, like, you know, I was really nervous. But, I mean, I didn't throw up. Not that I remember, at least. But a weird OCD thing has been happening since then. Wednesday, probably Wednesday, I, like, was having some panic attacks because I couldn't remember, and I felt the need to like ask people in a really weird way. Like I wanted to ask my friends that were there like, "Hey, did I seem weird to you, or was I, like slurring my words and were my eyes rolling back in my head or anything, did anything seem off to you?" But like I have resisted the urge to ask because one, that's ridiculous. And I know it would come off as ridiculous. And two, that's not helping me in my that like need to know and like need to like reassure and confirm with OCD. Not helping me. Today, I feel very dumb and self-critical, and I'm just waiting to drop dead right now, but like I gotta go to painting, so let's do that. I'm wearing lipstick because my friends and I were playing with makeup after class. Honestly, today itself wasn't really weird, but like the day was off to a weird start. I had a dream last night. Tom Cruise as the vampire Lestat was like somehow trying to kill me, and he was somehow linked to the Headless Horseman, and they used like a samurai sword to try and kill people. So I woke up periodically and then I fell asleep on my back, which I never do because I have sleep paralysis, and I thought that thing was like a floating head or something, like something was trying to kill me. Hi, welcome back. The camera cut out and I have no idea where I was or what I was talking about, so what you probably missed is I ordered some food because I'm too lazy to cook. And what I was telling you was that someone in one of the comments recently kind of asked for the story about how I like came to be here or how I came to study art here. So, I thought if anyone was interested or if anyone just wants to kill time listening to a story, I'll tell you that story. In 2011, I was an undergrad. I was in the summer before my junior year. So the summer before my third year, I had the opportunity to come on a trip to China that one of my undergrad professors is a pretty well-known artist from China, so he runs a trip every couple years to China, and I had the opportunity to go on it. So I did. When I got here, we visited a bunch of museums and a bunch of, universities and stuff, and when we got to the universities, I was really impressed by the caliber of work that was coming out of them, because we saw a bunch of the work that the students were doing. And I felt like, and I don't want this to sound like I think that my artwork is really good or anything. Like, I do think that I do have talent for painting and all that stuff. And if I didn't think so, I wouldn't be pursuing it as a career. And that's kind of like where I'm going with this, is that I felt like the caliber of work coming out of the universities here that I visited was much higher than the caliber of work that I was used to seeing in my university. And I don't want to talk down about my university because I honestly really enjoyed my time there, and I went to a public university, so I didn't really go to an art school per se. I went to a public university with a really good art program. Part of the problem is, and like this is universal probably, but when people are like 16, 17 years old and you're, you know, looking at them saying like, now as a child, you have to decide what path you want to take for the rest of your life. Like, what do you want to study that's going to set you up for your entire adult life? And I feel like a lot of people like, you know, I don't know, and they panic, and like a lot of people end up falling into an art program because for some reason, I guess it feels like maybe they don't really know what they want to do, or maybe they're not really, you know, finding their strengths yet. But they're like, well, I'm like okay at art, I guess, so like, you know, maybe I could do this. And it basically ends up being like they're killing time studying art. But the thing is that a lot of them don't have the passion for it, or they don't have, like, they don't see it as a viable career. But it's just basically killing time. And like, I don't mean to talk down about anyone, you know, like, no one, I think, ever really knows what they're doing or anything. So I think it's like a systemic type problem. But yeah, so I was feeling like my artwork, because of my personal need to be the best, and not the best in the way that I'm like better than everyone else, but like the best for myself. Like, I hold myself to a very rigid standard and a very high standard that if I don't do the best for myself, like for what I think I'm capable of, then I feel like I've failed. So I push myself a lot. And because of that, I have had a lot of success, and I have, you know, like done a lot of really cool things. So I owe a lot to that, but it's also like extremely stressful and like, you know, it's whatever. It is what it is. Like, that's who I am as a person. Yeah, I was just really impressed with the work that was coming out of the programs that I visited. And then, so fast forward, so I graduated in 2013, 2 years after coming to China. Graduated actually with 3 undergrad degrees, like 3 bachelor's degrees. I did it in 5 years. So I have a BFA in art, like fine art, concentration painting. I have a BA in art history, and I also have a BA in Asian studies. So it kind of made sense to come to, like, you know, this part of the world for grad school. Like, I kind of decided in 2011 when I was here, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, this is where I want to come to surround myself with people that are making really high quality work, because it's going to make my work better. Because the thing is, if there's like really passionate students, or if there's really like talented students that are in programs, not even programs, but if they're surrounded by work or people that aren't really like there, it's like they kind of plateau. Because they're like, well, there's not a whole lot of competition. Like, I'm already doing really well, so I'm not going to push myself. And like, I don't want to say that that's what I was doing, because like I just said, I push myself all the time. But I'm like, I could push myself that much harder if I'm in a really good program. In 2015, 2 years after I graduated, my professor ran another trip. And although I wasn't a student anymore, I just kind of like, it's like, hey, can I tag along? And he was like, yeah, sure. So I went and we visited the school that I'm at now. And my professor had a lot of, like a, you know, I don't even know the English word. I guess clout. He had a lot of clout with the dean of the art department here. And, you know, after the trip, I sent my professor a message, like a really long email. I was like, thank you for the opportunity to go back, blah, 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 you know, I really enjoyed my time. And I was like this really wordy, whatever email. And at the end of it, I was like, you know, I really one day would love to study for my master's degree. I'd love to study in China, blah, 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 whatever. And I remember, like I said, I sent this big wordy email, and he just wrote back like, I can help you, with like 2 exclamation points. And that was it. I was like, oh, okay. So then we just kind of like talked back and forth for a while after that. And he was like, yeah, like, you know, we can try and set you up in this program, you know, for the school that we visited. I was like, okay, cool. How it worked was then he got in contact with the school here and told them, like, I have a student that I highly recommend, that I want, you know, to kind of like potentially try out almost like an exchange program. And the school was like, yeah, cool, whatever. And they basically had me apply for a government scholarship through CSC, which is the China Scholarship Council. So they had me apply, and I guess a lot of people apply or whatever, but then they like handpicked me, like the school picked me out of like the people that apply, and they're like, we want this person to be seriously considered for this scholarship. Like we are handpicking this student as like one that we want to study with us. And basically from that point, it was kind of like a done deal. Or at least like I was still like applying, but they were treating it as it was a done deal. So I guess they know once they kind of put their candidate forward that it's like that's who ends up getting a scholarship. And then now here I am, almost 3 years into my 4-year, I almost said sentence. That sounds really bad. My 4-year sentence. No. Into my 4-year program. Here I am, about 3 years in. I guess my work has gotten better. I would like to hope so, because I've put a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of work and a lot of stress on my sanity. Like being here, you know, in a different culture, speaking a different language, doing all this stuff every day to become a better artist and have better opportunities. That's that story. That's how I'm here. What's after this? I don't know. I mean, I always really wanted, well, not always, but I saw myself teaching maybe at a college level, potentially. I always, like, I love being a student, and, like, I'm already looking at programs, like, to go to for more schooling when I go back home. I really was thinking about being an art history professor. Like, if I'm going to teach, I want it to be at a college level. But more recently, I've been kind of looking into conservation, like art conservation, which I think is really interesting. I don't know, man. Like, I'm gonna collect degrees as long as I can. If people are gonna give me money to study somewhere, hell yeah, I'll come study. My advisor just asked if I wanted to go see Endgame. As if I haven't already seen it. It's already May 9th. It came out April 24th here. Of course I've seen it. I didn't know she liked it. I would have asked her to go see it with me. Oh well, you know what I'm gonna do? Same thing I've been doing every day for like however long now. I'm gonna watch some Game of Thrones. I don't want to study. I don't want to edit. I don't want to work on my paper thing that I gotta work on. My paper thing, my thesis. I don't want to work on that. I don't really, you know, I just talked about how like competitive I am with myself, but like I'm also a huge procrastinator. Like that is one of my, I don't want to say one of my main downfalls, but it's like, it's, if I have like a hierarchy, it's up there. It's like way up there. Please come capture me under the weeping willow. Wait and have a be. Won't you be my hero? Please come capture me under the weeping willow. Wait and have a be.